coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
It does. When we do start right now, I am Scott Smokin' Sills, joined by my good friend Brad Baumrock. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Wednesday. Get your PB&J sandwich ready to go and have lunch with us here in the Ref Room. I say that every week because I know Brad hates PB&J, but it's a good way to kick it off. We're off to a fresh start. I don't know. Hopefully everybody watched the inauguration, a new chapter for our country. Let's get everything back open and keep moving here. And, to start it off, let's talk a little NHL hockey, Brad. I see our Blackhawks are having a little bit of a struggle out there. Starting out, did they end up winning in the overtime? No, they lost in the overtime last night, didn't they?
Yep. 4 games, 5 goals apiece. That's 20 goals allowed in 4 games.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
And yet they gave the general manager, now is he president of hockey operations? He got a promotion and a couple year deal.
He got a promotion.
And the coach gets a promotion and a 2-year contract. All right. Now we need to get some W's back in there. But there is some actual big news coming out of the NHL today because I guess they've been using this puck tracking device. And I don't know that much about it. I know that a couple years ago, Steve Glickman was telling me he was working with somebody. They have some sort of a tracker that they put into the equipment of the players so that they can track like their amount of time on the ice, where I think a lot of that stuff is done manually now in the NHL. I mean, we got guys like Zed that work for the NHL that record statistics and keep track of
everything. Yeah, the spotters.
But they've got some automated stuff. So I don't know how much this puck does, but apparently they're having problems with it. Doesn't slide down the ice very well. Just things like that happen in our games when you put a bad puck in play. I mean, I'm really careful about it, but some guys aren't. They grab pucks, and it's like, why would you grab that puck from the team and put that into the game? It's a bad puck. I mean, they're all chewed up or whatever. I'm pretty anal about having good pucks on the ice when we're out there working games. I just feel it's important, and I like a good puck.
Well, that's just like when you're refereeing, you're not supposed to have a puck with smooth sides.
Right.
It's supposed to have a way to grip it, along with a stick. And every once in a while I'll get a smooth one and I'm like, we're not going to play with this. Yeah. Now, I don't know the exact origin of why that started, but I'm sure there's definitely a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of having good pucks out there. So, coaches, when I come over to that bench and I ask you for 3 pucks, and I don't ask for 2, I ask for 3, because they're going to end up going over the glass anyway. So, I figured we might as well just get them while we can. We got a few other things we want to talk about because the breaking news, why don't you go ahead and give it to me, because you're the one that actually texted me yesterday to let me know what happened and bring us up to date.
We can get to that, but let's get to what we ended the show on last week.
All right, we can do that too.
Let's go through that first.
Let's refresh everybody's memory as to what we were doing, because we did not get a correct answer. We had a prize for whoever would send in the correct answer. Nobody sent it to us, so you guys missed out on an opportunity for sure. So why don't you go ahead and break it down? We talked about penalty shots a lot last week, and what would cause a penalty shot, the procedures, things of that nature. And so our question was, if a player was in the crease and caught the puck, like he just reaches up, grabs it, and goes to set it down, has he closed his hand on the puck? Is it a penalty shot? And Brad did some research this week and has all the correct answers. So,
I had it pulled up right away once we started. I just wanted to pull up the right verbiage.
Yeah.
So it was real close to one of the situations that we put in, but Rule 614B covers it. A penalty shot, optional minor penalty shall be assessed to a non-offending team when any player except the goalkeeper falls on the puck, gathers the puck into his body or hers, or uses the hands to hold the puck while in the goal crease. For application of this rule, the decision is as to whether the puck was in the crease when the moment it occurs. Okay, So
Break
they're
it down
saying you
for us.
can't catch. You can't. It's pretty simple. Okay, you're allowed to play it. You can't cover it anytime as a non-goalkeeper, which we established already. You can't cover it when it's on a goalkeeper's back while it's inside the crease. Remember, the player can be outside the crease, cover it while it's in the crease, and it's still a penalty shot.
Right.
One thing we didn't cover, Scott, was if a player lays out to block a shot and it ends up underneath them and they slide into the crease, that's not a penalty shot at that point, even if a stoppage occurs. The point
makes
of
perfect
catching
sense.
the puck in the crease, it can be made as to where they don't want you being super critical on it. If you catch it and drop it immediately, which is covered in a situation in falling on the puck, when the goalkeeper's been removed, there's a note on it and it says, in this situation, if the puck is caught and dropped to the ice immediately, no penalty shall be assessed, as no stoppage of play has been caused. Rule 618A is the reference. So basically, if you bat the puck while you're in the crease, well, you don't have to be in the crease, out of the crease, or if you immediately grab and drop, you're good. So you have to cause a stoppage in the goal crease. If you cause a stoppage in the goal crease, whether it's 3 feet off the air or not, by catching it. So if we close our hand on the puck, it's an automatic stoppage, correct? So therefore, we have a penalty shot if you close your hand. If you catch it and drop it right away, you're good.
That makes a lot of sense. It's good to know. I mean,
I wish somebody would have sent it in.
Yeah,
because
we did have a nice prize too.
I did. So, but we'll give it away some other time.
All right, that sounds good. While we're on the subject of we're in the crease, we might as well talk about goalies, because I really want to talk about. I've seen some crazy goalies recently, and I think they're, when I say crazy, more personality, a little more flamboyant. They're not shy and quiet, and I've also seen some of the shy, quiet ones just, have an equipment issue and go straight to the bench. Like, they don't talk to you, they don't say anything, and
didn't ask for permission.
Didn't ask for permission.
That's how it's worded in the rule book.
Right. So I want to kind of cover some of this stuff today, because I'm also seeing goalies that, for some reason, don't want to wear the chin strap, which means they can just pop their mask up and they keep doing it like between play. So, guys, we need to be mindful of the proper rule with the equipment. So, the goalies are supposed to have a strap here that keeps the mask down on their face.
Right.
That's number one. But, as far as the rules go for leaving the crease, if you've got an equipment issue, they need to ask the referee's permission before they leave the crease. Otherwise, technically, it's a delay of game. But there are ways around that. So let's cover some of those. I mean, first of all, if you have a goalie,
Scott, you're on this.
All right. So if you have the goalie that's going to leave the crease, one, he can ask you permission to go get his equipment fixed, and I'm going to grant him that permission if it's quick. Otherwise, they've got to put a substitute goalie in if they have one.
Okay.
The other thing would be, you could say, well, you're going to have to, if he goes to the bench without permission, now he faces the delay of game penalty. We could turn around and say, you're going to have to substitute your goalie. So you're going to have to switch the goalie. You're going to have to make the line change basically for the goalie. That would eliminate having to give them the delay of game penalty. The next thing that could be done is the coach could call the timeout. They could take their timeout, and now the goalie's over there. There's no issue. So, those are a couple of the options you have. But, I've seen more and more of these goalies, just kind of doing their own thing and thinking nothing of it. Now, I'm going to ask the question, when it comes to the celebration after a goal, I see a lot of these goalies now wanting to almost go to the bench and get a high five from the teammates that are scoring. Is that a delay of game? Is that a
Scott, the one thing is,
how are you going to cover this? Because what's happening is, and I'm going to refer to a goalie that's on the north side of town. I'll call him the north side of town. But, they're adding 10 or 15 minutes to every game. They're knocking the net off consistently. And it's one thing if, and there goes my phone, it's Wednesday afternoon. Everybody knows now. But it's one thing if you're taking the net off in movement, to go play the puck, or, you sprawl out and you're face first on the ice and your legs go back and you get the net. It's a little tougher to penalize somebody in that situation. When you see them like reach back and boom, push the net off, you got them. You're going to call the penalty. I get that. But
it's
some of
deliberate
these guys
action.
are cagey. They're cagey.
Well, Scott, it's a deliberate action. Also, when you talk about the net coming off, let's go back to where you flew off on a tangent already. It took you about 6 seconds. The one thing is goaltenders going to the bench during a celebration of a goal. I get to where the goalkeeper wants to be involved, and I do understand. But number one is they don't want that extra player over there because it does take a long time for them to get back. Now, B, imagine this. I've never seen it happen. Have you ever seen a goalkeeper go down the ice when they've switched sides during the second period to go celebrate with his team? I never have.
No,
it's just one of those things. I think that's primarily where it started, but they don't want the game to be dragged out by a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So communication becomes key in that situation. You got to go talk to that goalkeeper and go, look, man, you're making me look bad. I need you to stay in your privileged area at least. Okay. They got a lot of space there. The guys are going to come by pretty much anyways. They move 10 feet out of the goal. They're going to move right back in, 20 feet. But where they're going all the way to the bench, you should really shush them back in during higher levels of, like national championships and all that. The players are briefed on that so that you're lucky there. So it normally doesn't happen that often. But, you do see quite a few things like that in the other levels. But I think at that point, you need to talk about it. You need to say to the goalkeeper, hey, I need you to stay over there or else we're going to end up doing this. And just tell them. Because a lot of goalkeepers don't even know. They're just oblivious. Now, there are a couple that are very smart, but, they're the ones that are knocking the net off, too.
Yeah.
Now, think about that, too. Also, a goalkeeper, if they deliberately knock it off, all you have to do is say, look, you did it once. That's your freebie for today.
Yep.
No more, unless it stops a scoring opportunity or something like that, which it does. But, it happens a lot where the guy goes, they cut around behind the net and then they cut back and they slide it across and bang, here goes the net off because there's no defenseman back. Right. But you can talk to him in that situation too. But if you have to penalize him, then you have to penalize him.
Well, think about it. If you got a 2-on-0 and you take the net off, it's a penalty shot. You might have a better chance surviving the penalty shot than you do the 2-on-0.
Right. Correct. I mean, but also then again, that could bite you because the way that they changed USA Hockey, that if they're coming down on a 2-on-0 and you slide and take it off intentionally, right? All right. Well, as long as I've released the puck already and you slide to play your position to stop the puck, that's considered a good goal if the net comes off beforehand.
Right. But
so they reworded that a couple years ago.
The net off before the puck is released from the stick. So
yeah, no, I'm just pointing it out that it does happen, in both cases, and it happens a lot where the goalie dives at it as it's being shot, but they knock the net off. Like you can tell that they knocked it off intentionally, and they're just looking for that whistle. After either the puck hits them or it goes in the net, then they're going to argue, well, the net was off.
Yeah.
Well, we get it, but that's not the way that USA Hockey has it written and worded now because they changed all that wording with a little amendment a couple years ago.
Now, you mentioned just a moment ago about players get a briefing at nationals. Now, I haven't had the privilege of doing nationals, but I'm very interested to know what that's all about. I've never heard that, and I'd love to hear what they cover. That's very cool. Nationals, like the officials get there and they have to be there beforehand too. You get a briefing. They go over what the tournament has seen throughout the year. Well, it's not the tournament, but what USA Hockey has seen. So USA Hockey tracks all of our data, and they track everything from, major penalties, minor penalties, and they get reports from locals. And I don't know exactly how all that works, but they look for trends. Like the number one thing always at USA Hockey was you go to a midget national, there's not going to be what's referred to as the blow up hit, which is now going to be in the verbiage. That's just illegal now.
You're not going to be able to do it at all. But that's been the case for a while, because when you watch on TV, it looks terrible when it happens in youth hockey. When we see two guys making a couple $100,000 or millions of dollars doing it, you get a little chuckle out of it and a good feeling, because you're like, he's making a lot of money in order to get that. So it's, they don't want that kind of stuff happening. Just like, they come in and they tell the players, hey, we know this is tier 1 hockey. You've probably gotten away with it in your local or in other places as a goalkeeper. You can't wear cat's eyes goalkeeper masks.
Right.
Okay. We all know you have a second mask. Don't let us catch you with it out there today. So stuff like that, they brief them. And then the games that they end in the pool play with the shootout. So, as you go out there, the players, they have to be in the benches. Okay. And, when you see a game going on at your local rink, if there's a penalty shot or a shootout, lots of officials let the players kind of congregate by the benches or sit on the boards, just because, it's pure, what I'd say, laziness, or just every once in a while, brain fart happens. But think about watching that game on TV, because all the games are streamed live.
Yeah.
And you got 3 guys sitting on the boards, 1 guy standing on the ice, and the guy's coming down to take a penalty shot in a national pool play game. It just looks terrible. So they brief them. And, they brief them too about how the penalty structures are, and game misconducts will be reviewed. And, they give them a lot of information. Plus, they don't want fighting, so they explain to them that fighting is, a big thing that we're not going to have while we're here. And the officials are instructed that way as well. So it's a big group effort. Once you get up to that spot, they're there to hopefully play hockey anyways.
Yeah. Do they
so
put them all in one giant room and have this discussion, or do they go team to team? How does that work?
That part I don't know. I just know that they're briefed. The officials, hey, we're all together. The officiating staff
that makes sense.
Isn't super huge. But, you get together, the officials, you get together. It's either a lunch or a dinner. It's normally a lunch the day before everything starts and kicks off. You're given all the people that are going to be working in the tournaments phone numbers, emails, so that you guys can communicate. Because especially if you're a traveling official, you might need a ride to the rink. Yeah. So, it's one of those things. And it's a big group effort once you get to that spot. And the people that brief everybody and that put this all together really, really work hard. So my hat's off to them. The nationals I've been to, you're treated with the utmost respect while you're there by everybody off the ice, on the ice. It's a real privilege to be there. It's a lot of fun. Sure. I did one in Texas, and I'm a huge barbecue guy. And every day they had barbecue for breakfast and dinner from a different spot, a different type of barbecue. It was amazing though, and then, the way I am, I started asking the local people, because I had never been to Dallas where I was at. And then I was getting small little mom and pop joints to go eat breakfast at in the morning if I wanted to pay for it, or I just eat at the hotel.
Yeah. No, I know. So, I was in Austin, and there's a place down there. I mean, people, they bring their cooler to get the meat in the morning. They line up for hours, and it's sold out long before lunch. It's a major to-do. So some pretty cool stuff. Now, I think, are Nationals going back to Texas this year? Is that official? I know there was some talk of the Nationals.
You know what? I don't know the national schedule. Okay. I'm not sure.
I heard that, it makes sense because everything is probably open down there, that they can do it, and they've got enough, rinks and people to take care of it, I guess. But
well, it's one of those things, with me not skating, it's been one of those far and distant thoughts, because even at this point, let's say they said, "Oh, Brad, would you like to go work nationals?" No, I wouldn't, and that's not because I don't, want to work it or. The fact is, I'm not in shape to work it at all. My body is not in shape, and doing some supervisions, my legs are like, whoa, and I'm never like that. Yeah. So, somebody just put in there as locations are not set yet.
Locations are not set yet. So thank you for that. Whoever put that in, I'm
whoever
guessing,
it is.
Let's see if I can figure it out. Who put it in?
That's
Don't show
fine.
up on
Let's say
mine, so-
hi.
but
Let's
thank
say
you.
hi to Paul Anderson.
Yeah, Paul, what's up, buddy? How you doing out there in New York? Yeah, we got some snow here. Definitely, it cooled off a little bit finally. It's actually really nice out.
Yes.
I took the dog out for a walk. Frankie was out, and actually her feet got cold today, which is very rare for her. But yesterday I had her little coat on, and she was having a ball out there, so it's all good. What else? Blake Sorensen had checked in. Hey, Blake, how are you? Hope you're doing well. He's the coach from Notre Dame High School. So a shout out to him and everybody else that's watching. Say hello, guys. Put it in the comments. Tell us where you're watching us from. And thank you for selecting us over the presidential inauguration. You can watch the referee.
Well, I think that might be over.
Yeah, it is.
So-
It is. But they've got stuff going all day. I mean, it's still got live coverage going. I've got it on in the studio here, so I'm keeping an eye on things. So,
Well, so our mystery Facebook user was Eric.
Oh,
So
okay.
Mr.
Thanks, Eric.
Council. So
Mr. Cowsell.
Mr. Spaeth, how are you today, bud?
Hey, Mason, how are you? So, yeah, a couple things. I mean, obviously the big news came out yesterday, as long as we're talking about nationals, and that
There you
news
go.
is that the state tournaments, unfortunately, have been canceled. It's official now. There will not be a state tournament here in Illinois this year, which,
There you go.
it's very sad, but, kind of expected. I, don't know where we're going to go, if we'll get any kind of a small season out of this or not. I think as the days are ticking, it's a limited time. I mean, the players have to be out of school by the end of May, I'm guessing. So you'd have to finish up. It's crazy, but nonetheless, they are going to try to have some teams somehow that are qualified go to regional or national. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah,
Or is that just for tier one? Is that just the AAA players?
So the letter that they put out was very, very well done, and they tried to explain in there that it was going to be basically a logistical nightmare with all the restrictions and trying to get people together and gatherings, and I don't think it would have worked out very well even if they would have attempted it. Then imagine trying to get testing in order to get stuff going, and to how do you limit a team that's playing in the state finals with the possibility to go to nationals because two players don't feel good.
All right.
I mean, what do you do then?
I feel it's my right, to fact check people on this, okay? And that is not a fact because I was supposed to be the one banning a Mike Cross Ice state championship game. So that is completely false. So please do not put false information on our page or it will be taken down.
but at the bottom of the letter, it stated that they're looking into the possibility of teams being able to go participate in the Central District playoffs, which it's above my pay grade. I'm sure, some teams have been playing out of state in sanctioned USA hockey tournaments. There's always a bid-in process, which is how many games you have to play and stuff like that in order to get in. I don't know how that would all work out, but again, it's above me.
Right.
So I'm going to just stay out of it. I don't have an opinion either way.
The letter was good that came out because it did explain to everybody, the logistics that are involved in trying to put one of these tournaments together, because they need the times, the locations, you need the rinks, you need the referees, you need all
volunteers.
Kinds of things. There's a lot of logistics that are involved in making that thing happen. So I totally get that they can't just fly off the seat of their pants and go, oh yeah, okay, let's hold a tournament next week. We're used to a pretty high level of competition and coverage, and the way it's done, it's very nicely done and laid out. So it makes perfect sense that that's not going to happen. Now we get, let's see here, a few minutes late, Ricky Farron checking in. Hey, Ricky, what's going on, buddy? A few minutes late, not sure if it's been asked or addressed. Question for Brad. Will IHOA be reimbursing or transferring registration fees to the 2021 season for officials who registered this season? Well, Ricky, we've talked about this a couple times on the show. I know IHOA gave us a break on our pricing this year, to help us out because they kind of figured that this was going to be the case. I guess really, the question I've raised before and the big question that I think a lot of our fellow officials raise consistently is, what will USA Hockey do? Will they step in and say, okay, you're grandfathered in? Now, it was brought to our attention. One of the board members said, well, because of insurance, That's not the case because they can't do that. But, I went back and I thought about this. And, I took that as like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But then I went back and I said, well, wait a second. They run a symposium or whatever they want to call it for people that want to be a tenured official, which means if you go to this seminar that they hold out of state, then you do not have to test anymore. You don't have to, I don't think you have to do the modules, do you? If
you still have to register.
You have to register, so you pay a fee every year, but you don't have to do the tests and everything else. So if that's the case for them, why can't that be the case for us if we don't have a season? Why can't they just grandfather us in for a year? And I think that's really the big question that comes up, because you can't make the argument now about the insurance, I don't feel, based on the fact that they do not, have anything that went on at the symposium that makes them special, that says, oh, well, now you're immune from the insurance situation, so you don't need to take the tests.
But think about it this way. Like, I get where you're coming from with the tests, but the insurance issue, it goes like this. Let's say you have a car and you choose not to drive it for a year. You're right. Or the government says you're not going to work. But we'll use this as you're not going to work. And your office says you're not coming in. You don't drive it the whole year, right? Because everything was closed down. Is the insurance company going to say, nah, we'll just jump your premium for next year?
Oh, okay. Well, so I'm gonna challenge you on
go
this a little bit too, because
I know where you're going with
you
this.
can put your car on storage. Okay, so instead of paying $100+ a month for that car, maybe you're going to pay $20 or $25 for that car. It's a storage situation, so you're still insured. You're still protected. If something happened while the car is parked, you're going to be, okay with that. Obviously, less your deductible, but it's kind of the same thing. I mean, if they turned around and said, well, you know what, I feel like we shouldn't even have to take the test other than the fact that it's a rule change year coming, which comes into play, and maybe they could test us on that. But I think if you did all the modules and you got completed, there should be some sort of...
See, but then the problem is, Scott, where you come into as, well, okay, so Chicago was kind of shut down, right? Yeah, well, you did have, the XYZ, or what'll happen is, okay, well, let's say everything opens in April. Well, now we only got a couple months in. Well, they're not going to give you a partial reimbursement. And not only that, if you say, well, Illinois was,
but
Illinois was
we
closed.
We haven't opened.
Right.
Based on what we're seeing, we're probably not going to open, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Do you think we're going to open? Give us a open or closed in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. I mean,
I think in a couple months, probably. But I just also, okay, what about the places that open for a month and then closed? I get it. I understand sometimes you take one and you're not too happy about it, but it's an odd year. I mean, think of all the landlords and everything that companies are just going, up yours, and they're just moving out.
Yeah.
I know people that have been instructed to go pick their stuff up at their office because they're not going back, and they're not going to pay for their lease.
Yeah.
So, they're getting kicked too. So it's not just us.
I mean, everybody's taking it in the shorts here. Basically, it's just the way it is.
Well,
it's tough.
I've heard of some places that, I can't confirm where they're at, but the rinks are like, oh, well, we're closed. It's not our problem. You still got to pay for the ice.
Wow.
For the clubs.
Wow. Yeah,
I heard that. So
I was absolutely dumbfounded, guys. I'm going to tell you, I've had a couple conversations with coaches, and we've had them on the show here. When they tell us what the ice bill a month is for some of these schools, I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. I know the parents are having a tough time. They don't want to pay the price because, kids are only practicing. That's all they're allowed to do. So, when you're not having games and you're not playing and you're still paying that bill, yeah, it's a major suck it up and deal with it, because it's not easy. And these schools, the bill that they're paying for that ice every month, wow. I mean, honestly, guys, not uncommon for a school to go, oh yeah, well, it's $75,000 a month for ice for us. That may not even be a big major school with multiple teams. That's
not even a big bill.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, when you think about it and what it costs for these teams to operate.
That's why up front, several shows ago, we pointed out how much it costs in order to put a hockey game on from the top to the bottom, practicing twice a week in order to have that game, then the ice, then the officials. And then that's why we kind of pointed out why people want us to be more professional always and, out there working hard and all that. It's because they are putting a lot of money into it. And, they do want to see some sort of product. And, that's not the whole reason why people get upset when you're officiating. Sometimes people are just off the handle, but, does play a factor into it. The one thing you mentioned, Scott, was about parents, with the ice bill, and now they're not, kids aren't playing games and all that. Unfortunately, all the parents out there, that's a super selfish reason. If your kids are still practicing and they were able to the entire time, they're still developing their skills. And you have to look at it that way. Games are the icing on top of all their skill development. So if your kids get an extra practice a week, you're still paying for them to play the game. Yep. It's just you're not being able to participate. And I'm sorry. That's all it is.
That's something that's been raised too by some of the coaches on the show that we've had over the past year. And that is, they feel parents should be more involved in the kids' practices. They say in Canada, the parents show up to every practice. And then when little Johnny doesn't play in the first period for some reason, they probably already know why, he's not playing in the first period. So they take more of an active interest in the kids in terms of showing up at the practices and watching the practices and being more involved as far as that goes, instead of just showing up for the games. So that was something that was a differential that somebody felt was totally different. And, we've talked about doing a show. I think we still may do this, and that is to do a show on what it costs to play hockey. I mean, we've talked about certain things, but when you go from school to school to school, it's a huge difference. Maybe you're playing at a Chicago public school and maybe, that fee is one thing. Maybe you're playing at a Catholic League school that has way more ice time and it may be another thing, or you may be playing so many games. Some of these teams almost pay as much as probably a Central States team for playing high school hockey. Am I right in what I'm saying? And we'll probably try to get some of the numbers for you guys at some point.
Well, see, the difficult part about that is there are still teams, high schools, clubs, AAA programs, AA. They have donors, and if you have a very enticing donor, that changes yours. You could have the same cost as another organization, but you have a donor involved in there, and it really skews those numbers. So it's all what they're looking for. That's why, in the younger levels, they look for sponsorships, to put in their yearbook or stuff like that. $500 here, $1,000 there. Well, it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you get 100 people to do it, you got $100,000 there.
Yeah, that
might pay, for a high school or
of course,
2 high school teams. It might pay their bill for the ice for the year. Or like when I went to high school, we got our bag, gloves, shells for our pants, helmets. And I think that our warm up, and I think we got a hat too. And that was all covered by donors. And I went to a regular public school. I didn't go to a Catholic school or a prep school or anything like that. So, it's nice when people help the community back out that are fortunate enough. Hey, there's a great comment over there.
Yeah, I'm going to put that up, but I do want to say something with regard to that. I mean, it's very interesting, how that is and how it's changed, because when I played high school hockey, long time ago, back when we had to walk to school and read by the fireplace.
Uphill both ways to the snow.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you got that in there so you know how tough it was. But we actually paid by the game and by the practice. So the coach actually came into the locker room and he collected, and you ready for the number? $3. They collected $3 from each of us for the practice ice. And when we got to the game, he collected $3 before the game. So they actually walked in the locker room and collected the money before the game. Before every ice session. That's how we did it in high school. And I was playing minor Hawks, junior Cougars. No, you paid your regular fee, and you paid that. I don't know if it was annual or an installment, whatever it was. But high school, that's how they did it. They collected, and of course, it was club sports, so you couldn't even get a letter for being, a hockey player, the school I went to. And then you'd have to go out and skate in the city championship in the speed skating. That was an actual varsity sport. So for you to get the letter, all the hockey guys would go to the city championship, and they'd put us into all the different divisions. And if you medaled, so if you got a first, second, or third place medal in one of those divisions, you got your letter. You got your varsity letter for school. So that's how we had to do it. I mean, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of these are just club sports at all these schools. I don't know if they get a varsity letter for that. Do they?
I got a letter.
You got a letter
for when I played. Yeah. So the guys that played in our area club. Yeah.
All right. Let's look at this comment. I had to throw that out there. Okay. So times have changed. All right.
Yeah, from the governor,
Facebook
probably.
User now. I don't know. Yeah, you'll get a letter from the governor. An accommodation.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you learning extra when you pay extra to take the lifetime seminar that allows them to never have a seminar, take a test, and see a video? Yeah, that's a very interesting point that you raised, because I could tell you I've been to two of the district seminars. I think they're called district seminars, where I did one in Madison, Wisconsin, like 2 years ago. And I did one in Michigan, Grand Rapids. Went to Grand Rapids a few years ago. And we had Steve Patafi on the show, who worked the East Coast. And, he was like 1 foot in the door to going to the NHL, about as close as you could get without actually getting there. And Steve was the lead instructor. And I had a great time. I mean, that's one of the reasons I went back there the second time, because I learned so much. And it was just a great weekend, a lot of skating, good camaraderie. It was fun. Fast forward, they were talking about having this symposium or whatever, but I understand you don't even skate at these. Like when you go to a district seminar, you spend 2 days on the ice. You probably have 5 sessions, and you can take your tests there, or you can choose to go back to your local market and take your test if you'd like to. It's, the choice is yours. But when you go to this national seminar, apparently for the weekend, you don't skate, is what I've been told.
Correct.
And so if you go and you're a level 3 and you want to go to be a level 4, you can't. You go, if you're a 3, you go and you stay a 3. On the other hand, if you're a 4 and you go there, I guess you stay a 4. I guess they don't have to have another skating test or anything of that nature. And yet they I don't know what they learned for the 2 or 3 days that they're there. I'm assuming they go over a lot of stuff, which is what they do at most of the seminars, the district seminars, but I'm not sure. Maybe if somebody out there has actually been to one of these, and do we have any tenure? Do you know if anybody from the Chicagoland area has done that?
We have 7.
Oh, we do, that have gone to that. So they went to Minnesota. Okay. I think that's where, was last year's in Minnesota? Was that?
Yeah, it was in Minnesota, because it's supposed to travel around the country,
right?
From year to year. So, like for me, I was like, I'd have to take the time off of work, which I'd have to do anyways. But it's going to come to Chicago eventually, so I'm sure I'll do it.
If I was younger, I would say, heck yeah. Think about it. If you're a 16-year-old, referee, or better yet, maybe you're a 30-year-old referee that you're going to work 10 or 15 or 20 years. Yeah, I'd definitely go do that. My age, I don't know if I want to travel to do that, because, let's face it, I probably only have a few years left of doing this. We'd like to think that we can do this till we're 70 or 80 years old, but the reality of it is
there are guys that have done it till 70 in Chicago.
I'm pushing. I'm going to try for it.
So the one thing is I've heard from quite a few of the guys that went. They actually had a really, really good time. They had a lot of people there. I don't know the details. They said that the classes were early in the morning and they went fairly late, like I think it was like 4 or 5 at night. but you had a lot of time to go out and meet other people and talk about hockey with other areas. They enjoyed that. They enjoyed the instructors that they had talking. They did not get on the ice. You are correct. So you learn a lot, but the idea of these seminars is to fall in line with the coaching seminars, to where I think it's level 5, I think, are the coaches, whatever it is, and they never have to take another seminar. So the idea is, if you're going to put in that amount of money and time commitment, that you're still already doing that at the local. So like the people that went, that I know that all went, okay, they're all always on top of the rule changes. They don't need a seminar to sit in,
right,
in order to learn. Like, some people like to go to seminars. That's their way to get geared up. Well, some other people, they're like, well, I can read this on my own. You know, quite a few of them, I think all but 1 or 2, I can't remember exactly, are seminar instructors in Illinois. One of them, 2 of them are assistants. The rest are all certified. You know, so I think that was their biggest reasoning, was to give the officials that option, because the officials are like, wait a minute, I've been doing this, like, for me, next year, it'll be my 22nd year. There's not a lot I'm going to learn in a local seminar. No offense to my locals, even though there are things, you know, through talking with the participants, you can learn a lot. That's why I like doing seminars.
But the great
I like
stories. There's so many great stories, you know, it depends on who teaches your class, but there's great storytellers amongst us here.
Right. So that was the idea behind it. And what I heard, it was all positive from our guys that went, and lady, we had a female official go. Okay. So just so you know, that it was good, I guess, from what we heard.
So Alex chimed in and he says, not doing seminars and modules every single year, sign me up.
Sign me up.
That's exactly what it is.
It's a convenience fee.
Alex, what level are you? Is he a 3? I don't know. I don't know, Alex. I don't recognize.
I think he's a 4. He's a 4 this year.
Okay, he's a 4. So, I mean, yeah, I'd go sign up too. You know, you don't even have to take the skating test anymore. There's no more seminars. You just pay for your registration for USA Hockey, and you pay your registration to IHOA, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
there's no affiliate fee.
Yeah, it's a great way of doing it. Now, do they have anything during the rule change years?
He's a 3.
Oh, level 3.
You know what?
Okay.
I don't know enough about the tenured program. I'll be the one. Yeah, he's also in our development program, which unfortunately we're not running yet, and hopefully we'll get back to it soon, because it drives me insane that we're not. But anyways,
are we going to have the development program this year, do you think? Or is that something that's, I mean, is that tabled because state tournament is tabled, or is that still could happen?
I think once we get permission to open up and everything like that,
okay, I
will put together a pitch to start the program again.
Gotcha.
But, you know, there's a lot of issues that are around it, and I just want to make sure, you know, that nobody is going to end up sick because of it, or, you know, stuff like that. And everybody else is concerned. It was not an easy decision for the program to be tabled for the season. Right. And that was not something that I made personally myself or anybody else did. It was a big group effort. So
we got a comment here that says coaching level 4 is 2 full days and only do modules. There were about 100 at my class, 3 female. Level 5 is master's level, week long.
See, and that's all week long.
Now, you know,
and that's how long the symposium was.
As long as we're on the subject of level 5, you know, I'm going to chime in on this, because I think referees should be level 5. I think they should have 5 levels for referees. I think that you have 3s that can skate and 3s that don't skate very well. And they're still, you know, the assigners know what to do, which is the good news here. But, you know, I feel like there should be a level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Anybody got any thoughts on that? Anybody out there want to chime in? Hey, Terry, what's going on? Just saying hello to him.
I think you technically have a level 5 now with the symposium. It's just they don't give you a different level, because you could be a level 3 or a 4 to attend the symposium.
Right.
So it's basically the same thing as a level 5 coach, which the one thing is, though, for coaches, though, they have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 in order to end up at the
To get to the
symposium.
5, yeah.
You could go and referee for 5 years. I think that's the symposium's minimum as a level 3. So you're already
Right.
8 years in.
Right.
So you can then jump and be an automatic level 5. You don't even have to do level 4, especially because the difference between a 3 and a 4 is you can pass the skating test, and the rules test is different. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference.
So there's no refresher during the rules change years? Like they won't send them modules
I don't know.
and stuff and say, hey, these are the new rules. You guys need to know this. And
I really
are they allowed
wish
to
I
take off? Can they take a year off or 2 years off? When do they lose their right to stay tenured official is the question. Anybody know that answer?
I wish we had one of them in here right now, but I think he's
See.
working today.
Terry says level 3 and 4 should be by recommendation only. I don't disagree with you, Terry. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I kind of like that idea. The recommendation thing, politics come into it a little bit, possibly. Don't know. Everybody's pretty fair and pretty objective about this stuff, but that could be something that could be like questioned. I think if it's recommendation, I think the level 4 thing probably, yeah. I mean, I would like to see them go out and watch you do a game. We do that. You get supervised games, you get evaluated, and people see you skate. But I think that it would be nice to have somebody if you're going to go to level 4, and I think they do go out. If you're going to be going to nationals, you have to get another evaluation specifically for national. Am I right about that, Brad?
Well, it's done in different areas, different ways, but you have to have an evaluation on file within so long a time, and it has to be at a certain level in either the referee spot or a linesman spot. It can't be from a 2 official, although this year is going to probably throw that all out the window.
Yeah.
But
will they be doing 2 officials for national because they're short? No, they wouldn't, but
I don't know. But you got to remember too, it's what the rinks can do too. Even though these areas are open, they still have, different requirements right now for stuff, because I know there was a showcase up in Minnesota before they closed down, and normally they would use 3 officials, and because of the rink, they used 2.
Yeah.
And that's just how they did it. And you know what? The officials that went were just happy that they went. So that's all it is.
We're definitely short officials. I mean, we've said that on the show all year long. So, guys, go complete. If you've started, you might as well finish. Why not complete? If we come back in the next month or 2 or 3, whatever it is, you're still going to have games. You're still going to be able to work something before the fall session kicks in. And I know we have seminars usually like July or August, right, Brad? Is that when we start the seminar? So hopefully everybody would be able to get back, because the seasons usually start. We see games for youth starting in September. So, that would at least get you back on track. But again, remember, with the new changes this year, if you haven't gotten screened, and what is the screening? Is it every 2 years we have to get re-screened? Is that what the deal is now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the USA screening.
Yeah.
It's every 2 years. You have to get re-screened and pay a fee. You don't have to go in. You don't have to go in and get fingerprinted, which I'll tell an actual real quick funny story.
Yeah.
We had an official, he's in his 20s, and he texted me New Year's, the day before New Year's Eve. When do I have to be complete by? And I'm like, tomorrow. New Year's Eve. I was just messing with him, tomorrow. So New Year's Eve, I'm driving to work, and I get a text message at 6 a.m. All right, I did my online modules. Now I'm going to take my online tests. Yada, yada. And he finishes up, and then he's like, the one thing is the screening. Where do I go to get screened? And I'm like, oh, you get online. I go, and you just do it there. He's like, okay, well, what about the fingerprinting? You shouldn't have asked. And I go, well, what you do is you take a picture of your fingers with your camera, and that's how it works. And he sends me back. He goes, dude, that's really great. I can't believe it. That's really dope. I like it. And I'm like, are you serious? You even believe me on that? Like, it's like I had to. He was already going. So he gets all this done, right? And on New Year's Day, he shoots me a thing, and he's like, my screening hasn't come back. Is this going to affect me or whatever? I'm like, I'm like, dude, you got till like technically like March before you'll lose your thing. So don't worry about it. But I had a little fun with him. Yeah, well,
Good stuff.
It's not as cruel as where guys told a guy at junior camp to show up in a tuxedo for day one, and the guy showed up in a tuxedo for
Good
day
for
one,
him.
and he was a rookie.
See, he wanted to be there, so you got to give him credit for that. Let's see, we got a couple more comments coming in here. One from Terry. And level 4 doesn't always mean the same across the country. It just means you are the perceived best in your area. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you kind of see that at
Terry made a
some
point.
Of the national...
Terry made a point above that though that you should put out there.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let's
That's
change this out here and put level 4 should be restricted to the top 5 or 10% of officials. Yeah, that's fair.
Right. So
I would agree with that.
I crunched the numbers just now from last season. How many level 4s we had compared to everybody? 6.7% of the officials were level 4 in the state of Illinois.
For this year or for last year?
Last season.
Last season. Okay.
This year would be a skewed number because you're still.
Yeah, what would it be? Just out of curiosity,
This year, yeah. I don't know off the top of my head. I just know what the numbers were last year.
Yeah, it is interesting because I've seen some of the level 4s that have shown up at the district seminars before, and they come from other areas, and it's like, wow, that's a level 4. They don't look the part. It's just the way it is. It's different. Smaller market, fewer people to choose from, different look. And we see it at I think we see it at Nike Bauer or CCM World Invite, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so it is different. Let's see, got another comment here. Brad, your word is just gospel. How could he not believe you? Absolutely. Alex, ding, ding, ding. You are a winner. You should get that bag because you have sucked up to Brad more than you could ever know now.
I think he's good. I think he's gotten stuff from our program already. So I think he's pretty good. We try to make sure you get something for putting the extra time in for free.
Yeah. All right. So, one other thing I do want to kind of talk about, and this is for the coaches out there, and this is an observation of mine. Call me crazy. I come up with some of this crazy stuff, but coaches. I always talk about like teaching your players, teach them how to take a face-off, teach them how to hold their stick at the face-off circle, that you don't choke down, so that you can just take the whole referee, the linesman out with it. Yeah, absolutely. But the other thing, defensemen, when there's an icing, number one, don't put the puck further back, like behind the goal for the referee or for the linesman. Push the puck forward, or better yet, like they do a lot of the out-of-state team players, they bend over and they actually pick up the puck and hand it to the linesman, or they shoot it up to him. They do the right thing. Illinois, I notice Illinois does not do that, and it doesn't seem to be taught. I think coaches should teach their defensemen to move that puck up, make it easier for everybody, keep the game moving. This is my personal opinion. I'm getting up on my soapbox now. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'd love to hear it in the comments. And I'm going to go Go ahead.
I don't think it's just an Illinois thing. I think it's everywhere. And I just think that players don't even consider it. Like it's amazing when you watch the upper levels of hockey, like in junior hockey, like the US USHL. You'll watch that. The linesmen, they pick up the puck quite a bit. Because they normally beat the players to the puck because they're already skating to go get it. But if the players do have it, they flip it up to them, and they flip it to them and they skate it down the ice, or on an icing, they take it and they shoot it down the ice. Well, it's a little different respect level in there because the guys that are working in those levels are trying to aspire to the same places those players are aspiring to. Unfortunately, when you deal with youth, it gets a little marred because now you have officials that are just happy working games and that are there. Then you have the officials that are out there to make money. And then you have the officials that are aspiring to get up higher. But the players are like that too. Some of them are just there to play. Some of them are there to get to a higher level. And some of them just don't care because their parents made them go. So they're there. So I think that's where you're going to get different responses from different players. When you get to
I
those
just see
the
a
higher
lot of
level
when
teams,
you have out of state teams in here, I just find they seem to be a little more respectful about doing that. And I just notice it's a big difference. I mean, I get the goalie that doesn't know how to pick up the puck yet with his glove. I get that. But some of the
Yeah.
goalies, they'll take their stick out of their hand and they'll pick it up with the glove hand that they can actually like grab onto the puck and hand it to you. And, kudos to them. That's very nice. And, I think guys, if you're very respectful to the goalies, for the most part, they're really good about that. Until somebody bumps them in the crease and they don't like it, and then they're probably going to shove the puck over into the corner for you after every whistle. That happens every now and then. But
that becomes another place that you can use communication, though.
Yep,
Hey,
exactly.
Hey, I'm pushing 65 over here. Sorry, Scott. Could you help me out and just hold on to that puck when it comes to your glove
over there, Brad? What are you talking about?
Thank you.
Right back at you, buddy.
No, I know. I'm fine with it. I don't care. But it becomes another way to communicate with the goalie. And the one thing is, if that goalie's upset anyways, and they're doing that, why not communicate with them and try to get it resolved?
Yeah.
It helps you out. I just think, it'll calm them down and keep them from doing something stupid too.
I'm going to go another step further too, because even, players, if there's an icing, somebody has to go get the puck, and that's the linesman, okay? Pick your head up. These guys start wandering around by the linesman, and the puck is being delivered. Honestly, this is probably 3 years ago. I think we were working a Central States midget playoff game, state game. And my one of my other linesmen, I was one of the linesmen. He went flying around to deliver the puck, and somebody went right in front of him as he was flying, and he got clobbered. Absolutely got laid out, busted his lip open, had to leave the ice for a couple minutes just to clean up. Came back out, but come on, guys. The puck comes back. Pay attention. And for the, if you guys are working a game, watch out for your partner. If you see there's a cluster in there, move over to the side. Let your partner return the puck quickly and have a clear shot so that they're not getting clobbered or having to stop. Even worse, you're full speed and then you got to stop, hand the puck off, and then you got to start up and go again. So, be aware of this stuff. And I wish coaches would teach the players to be aware of some of this stuff. The puck always comes back if there's an icing. The linesman's got to bring it back, or the official. So just one of my little things that I like to hit the coaches up on, Coaches have comments for us, they tell us stuff we should be working on. So, we're just going to give it back to them a little bit once in a while. That's all. We're here to educate them.
I got a good coach's story from last night. Well, allegedly. So we're working a game, and me and another official we're working a 2 official system, and me and that official have known each other for almost 20 years now. We're the same age, same place in life, have wife, kids, all that stuff. I said to him, when do you think the last time is we worked a game that it was just the 2 of us? And he's like, I don't know, 10 years. Because normally we go work with, they wouldn't put the 2 of us together. They could put us with other people. So yeah. I understand that. And I think that's very smart. So we're out there and a puck gets flipped up, goes off a guy's shoulder and goes in the net. So he's a low official. He hits the whistle and the one kid's hand pass, whatever. And I see him look at him like, what? And he looks right at me and I'm at the top, it hit him in the shoulder. So he's like, okay, that's what I got too. So we skated out to center ice, right? The coach that just scored goes, wait a minute, hold on. No. Puck, put it back down there. He hand passed that in the net, but we're like, whatever, So we go down there and we drop the puck and they're playing. And so we have an ice cut right after that, no more than 4 or 5 minutes. So as we come back out, the coach is on the ice for the team that just said, hey, no, our guy hand passed it in. It's no goal. He's pegging the net. Normally this doesn't happen. So I was like, okay. I skate over to him and he goes, hey, I don't want to say it in front of the players. He goes, I have no idea if that guy scored or not. He goes, I don't know what it hit. He goes, we've been playing like garbage the whole time. And I'm like, they're not going to get a lucky one like that if it went off his shoulder. They need to go out there and earn it. So I was like, oh my Lord. Like, but it was fun.
Yeah. Well, it's been interesting, some of these observation, situations that you go to. You see some stuff that you might not normally see during the regular season. So
I think it's been a good experience. I think everybody is a little bit lighter because, you know what? I think we're all just happy to be able to get out and be on the ice. It's really changed a lot. Plus, the people that I'm seeing, I know I've known for years, and you're used to seeing those people. One coach I saw him, and his hair is all the way down to his shoulders, and I've never seen his hair
he's got the COVID
longer
hair.
than a crew cut. And I'm like, what happened to you? He's like, I just can't remember to go get my hair cut. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. Like, but those people you're used to seeing, they're like a second family.
Yeah.
So it's hard not
because you
seeing
see
them.
the same people over and over. If you're working in the same ranks, I mean, you're going to run into these people all year long. So you actually do end up with a rapport with a lot of them. And, it's like, how's your day going?
Well, I refereed, I supervised a game on Saturday, and it was 2 high school teams. And the one mom was...
You mean an observation?
Yeah.
You stood there and observed?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
And the mom's running the score clock. And afterwards, so I observed last night. And she's on the glass because her kid's playing now as the visiting team at different rinks. She's like, we just saw you. I'm like, I'm a busy guy. I get around. She's like, you went from this rink to this rink? And I'm like, yeah. I go,
observation.
I go to Lake Forest
good
too.
Observation.
It was a very good observation, but it's they do recognize you too, the parents.
Yeah.
As you keep going and, over the years, you might see the same parents over and over and over. And, if you're doing a good job and working hard, you might not be the best guy, but, they notice. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's why, you guys got to hustle and, you do see the same people day in and day out. So, put the effort in and people will notice. They will take notice of it. And, it's nice when you have a coach that he says, hey, man, you do a good job for us because, you're working hard out there all the time and you're consistent. That's all they can ask for. I mean, they understand they may not agree with every call that you make, but if you're consistent, it's going to go a long way. The coaches know. They know.
Yep. Well, there's a comment over there from Terry McLaughlin, and it says, "I bet you remember some of this stuff the 65-year-old guy taught you."
Who's the 65-year-old guy is what I want to know.
I don't know. I think he's alluding to someone, but we'll just leave it alone. But Terry has been around since I was coming up, and when I skated up north, my first couple games, I did skate with Terry, and I didn't know Terry at all. But the second Terry's out there, Terry is a personality on the ice.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of working a state tournament game with him, I think 2 years ago, Terry, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So.
And he's referring to himself. Yeah. I told you he was.
That one. Okay. There you go. Well,
one thing I can
we never give away information that we're not supposed to. So there you are, Terry. So you gave it away yourself, buddy.
Hey Scott, one thing that
Brad is definitely the 60. No, he's the 265.
Yeah, thank you. Well, hey Scott, just so you know, I just want to put this out to the Illinois officials, even though this isn't always all Illinois people. Mr. McLaughlin, when he comes across an official that is of quality or is working hard or something, he does send very, very nice comments to people and compliment you. So, guys, nice. learn from Terry because he does know a lot. He's a wealth of information, and he's really, truly committed to the game. So just so lots of people know that now. So, Terry,
absolutely.
My hat's off to you.
And we appreciate your checking us out, Terry. You're a good man. So had a pleasure, like I said, worked a state tournament game with him 2 seasons ago. And you could tell we both had brand new white laces in our skates. So that's the way to do it. When you get to those high-level championship games, guys, if you ever get the privilege, I haven't had the privilege to go to the United Center, but if you do, put new laces in your skates. That's a little tip. That'll make everybody smile a little bit. They'll know you're ready for the job. What else you got for us, Brad? Anything else we want to cover today? Anybody got any questions they want to hit us up before we start to wind things down here?
The only one.
Might be getting a couple texts here.
I got a couple, but it's no questions. It's mostly making fun of us.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
Well, they should make fun of us. You know, we deserve to be made fun of, so it is what it is. All right. Terry says, but not skating yet this year. So you're not skating yet this year? Okay, Terry.
Yep.
Are you taking the year off? Or are you, did you complete? Or are you taking, you do get the 1 year that you're allowed to take off. So a lot of guys are doing that this year. And, they'll
just
probably
remember,
plan to
though,
return.
as a level 4, if you take the year off, you do not come back as a level 4. Come back as a 3.
Yeah, it's a good point. And if you come back and you screw the test up as a level 4, bad enough, you can be a level 2 by the time you go home as well. So,
or worse, a 1.
Can you go back as a 1? Probably could.
I think there is a way.
Yeah. Where there's a will, there is a way. Complete, just no games here. Okay, very good. All right. Anything else? Last chance to put some questions up, everybody, before we start to move forward.
I got
here?
nothing.
Okay. All right. Just a reminder, we do this every Wednesday. We do it at noon. Please join us. We like if you would subscribe to us on YouTube. It is refroom/C/ No, I'm sorry. It's YouTube/C/C
Yep.
refroom. Yeah. Here, I'll tell you what. Let's just put it up so you
Put
guys
the thing up.
can actually see. There it is. So that's one place, and you don't forget to subscribe, okay? So hit the notification button. Same thing with Facebook. It's Ref Room. We have the page, and we have the group. So there's 2 locations on Facebook. Probably best to watch if you can watch the show on YouTube, it's great. The other place that's awesome is Twitch, guys. And I know we don't have a lot of people that follow us on Twitch, but Twitch is a really nice stream, and you can do that by going to twitch.tv/refroom. Twitch.tv/refroom. Subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll be notified when we are coming on, which is Wednesdays at noon, Chicago.
The one nice thing about Twitch, too, Scott, is you were screwing around the one day and you were testing something, and I had the account. I think I was the only one that was on it at the time.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you went live.
At that time,
and it popped up.
I knew it was safe to do that because we had just started the channel. And actually, we've got some very cool stuff up there. If you actually watch on Twitch, like if you hit a subscribe button or like button, there's some very cool graphics that go along with the show that you'll be able to see. You're supposed to be getting them on YouTube and Facebook. For some reason, it just never seems to work. I set all this stuff up. I spent hours and hours of time on it, and there's some cool graphics. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed right now, subscribe on Facebook or YouTube, and let's see if anything pops up here. It's supposed to, but doesn't seem like it ever does. I don't know why, but it should do it on Twitch. I think it's just a software issue, but that's the way it is. So let's see here. What else we got? Mark's checking in. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Always enjoy working with Terry. Absolutely. And let's see here. Alex says you can turn on post and live stream notifications on YouTube as well. I have you that on. Yep, that's exactly right. So please do that. Hit that notification button, and you will get the notifications when we go live. See, I told you.
There it is.
See, we got a following. What I have? You got the red goal light. See, I told you all this cool stuff. So if you do a subscribe or a like or a follow, or a donation, if you want to donate to the channel, and you do it from Twitch. Did you do that from Twitch to get that to come up? I'm thinking you did, but yeah. So we got some cool stuff. I think we got some hockey fights in there. We got some cool graphics, all kinds of cool stuff. So you guys can check that out. So we'll do that. We'll play around with that maybe next week. So have a great week, everybody. Get out there and observe a game if you can. Have some fun. And, let's hope we're a week closer to getting back to reality and getting lots of games in and all that good stuff. All right. Brad, thank you. Yeah.
We had one topic that we didn't get to that I think we can prep out there for next week. We wanted to talk about the Michigan and get people's
we didn't even get to that. That's right.
So we'll save that for the next show.
All right.
That'll be the topic.
So everybody out there, start thinking about your thoughts on the Michigan. And for those of you that don't know what the Michigan is, why don't you tell them, Brad?
It's a lacrosse-style goal. So just Google it. There's great videos. If anybody has videos of it happening in a game that they're officiating or something.
I had a squirt player almost pull it off about, well, I don't want to say when, but I had a squirt player almost pull one of those off.
So send me the videos if you got them. refroombrad@gmail.com. So
Sebastian has another nice comment for Terry. Terry, you're a popular guy, buddy.
Hey, every week though, more and more people aren't a Facebook user. So keep moving over. Go to YouTube, go to Twitch.
Yep.
That way we know at least who it is.
Exactly. Yeah, so if you want to stay on Facebook and you want us to know who's on the stream itself when you put a comment up, for example, Sebastian has a comment up there right now, but if I go back, I'm going to go back to an early comment, which was good stuff, guys. There is a button somewhere, and I'll have to find it, that you can click from within the group that will allow your name to show up. But if you go to the Ref Room page, which is different from the Ref Room group page on Facebook, your name will automatically pop up. It's a privacy thing that they have going, so there's nothing we can do about it. But with YouTube, your name will show up. So if you're watching us on YouTube, and let's see, do we have anybody that's watching us from? Yeah, for example, Mason's watching us on YouTube, and we can tell because you see the little YouTube logo there with his photo, so we know he's watching from there, and vice versa. If Terry's watching on Facebook, we can see it's Facebook, and we'd see Twitch, whatever. But the only time your name won't appear is if you come in on the Facebook group of Ref Room. So it's the group. Any other way, you'll be able to have your name identified up there if you want that. I mean, maybe some of you guys like rolling, in silence. Incognito, yeah. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks for joining us. Join us next Wednesday. We will talk about the Michigan next week for sure, and lots of other stuff. Brad, have a great week, my friend. And
thank you,
everybody
too.
else. I will see you guys soon. I am Scott Smokin' Sills for my man Brad Baumrock. Have a great week, everybody. It's the Ref Room, and we are out.